Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most asked videos in the comments, and that is comparison between goats and sheep. When people think about livestock farming, two animals often come to mind very quickly. These animals are goats and sheep. For many centuries, farmers across the world have raised these two animals for food, income, and survival. Even today, in many rural communities, goats and sheep are among the most common animals kept by small farmers. These animals are important because they provide many useful things. They provide meat that families can eat or sell. They provide milk that can be consumed or processed into other products. Some breeds also produce fiber that can be used to make clothing and other materials. In addition to all this, goats and sheep also produce manure, which is very valuable for improving soil fertility in farms and gardens. Because of these benefits, goats and sheep play a very important role in agriculture. Many families rely on them not only as a source of food but also as a form of financial security. When a farmer needs money for school fees, medical expenses, or other needs, selling one animal can provide quick support. At first glance, goats and sheep may look quite similar. If you see them from a distance grazing together in a field, you might even think they are the same type of animal. However, when you spend more time observing them closely, you begin to notice many differences. Their feeding habits are different. Their behavior is different. Their body structure is slightly different. Even the environments where they perform best can be different. Because of these differences, it is important for farmers, especially beginners, to understand how goats and sheep compare. Knowing these differences helps farmers choose the animal that best fits their land, their farming goals, and their management style. In this video, we are going to carefully walk through 10 major points that compare goats and sheep. The goal is not to say that one animal is better than the other. Both goats and sheep are valuable livestock animals, and both have their place in farming systems around the world. Instead, the goal of this discussion is to understand the natural characteristics of each animal. When farmers understand these characteristics, they can manage their animals more effectively and create better farming systems. So let us begin with one of the most important differences between goats and sheep, and that is the way they feed. One of the biggest differences between goats and sheep is their feeding behavior. This difference may seem small at first, but it has a very large impact on how these animals interact with their environment. Goats are known as browsers. Browsing animals prefer eating plants that grow above the ground. They enjoy eating leaves, shrubs, vines, and sometimes even the tender bark of small trees. When goats are feeding, you will often see them stretching their necks upward to reach leaves. In many cases, goats will even stand on their back legs to reach branches that are slightly higher. This behavior shows how naturally adapted they are to feeding on shrubs and bushes. Because of this browsing behavior, goats are able to eat many types of plants that other animals might ignore. They are very flexible eaters and can survive on vegetation that is rough or less attractive to grazing animals. Sheep, on the other hand, are mainly grazers. Grazing animals feed mostly on grass that grows close to the ground. When sheep are eating, they usually keep their heads down while slowly moving across the pasture. As they move, they continuously bite small amounts of grass and chew it carefully. This slow and steady grazing allows sheep to convert grass into meat, wool, or milk. Because of these different feeding habits, goats and sheep often perform best in different environments. Goats tend to do well in bushy areas where shrubs and trees are available, while sheep usually thrive in areas with plenty of grass. This simple difference in feeding style is one of the main reasons farmers choose one animal over the other depending on the type of land they have. Another clear difference between goats and sheep can be seen in their body covering. Most sheep grow wool. Wool is a thick fiber that grows continuously throughout the year. Because wool keeps growing, it needs to be cut regularly through a process known as shearing. Shearing is an important management practice in sheep farming. Farmers carefully remove the wool from the sheep so that it can be cleaned, processed, and used to make various products. For many centuries, wool has been used to produce clothing, blankets, carpets, and other textile products. In many parts of the world, wool has been a major agricultural product that supports entire industries. Goats are different in this aspect. Most goats grow hair instead of wool. Goat hair is usually shorter and does not require regular shearing like sheep wool does. Because of this, goats often require less fiber management compared to wool-producing sheep. However, it is important to know that not all goats produce ordinary hair. Some special breeds of goats produce valuable fibers. For example, certain goats produce cashmere or mohair, which are used to make high-quality clothing. Even with these special cases, the body covering of goats and sheep remains one of the easiest ways to tell them apart. Now let us talk about behavior and temperament, because this is another area where goats and sheep differ quite noticeably. Goats are generally very curious animals. They like exploring their surroundings and investigating new things that appear in their environment. If a farmer places a new object in a goat pen, goats will usually approach it quickly to examine it. This curiosity is part of their natural behavior. Goats are also very active animals. They enjoy climbing on rocks, logs, and other raised surfaces. Sometimes you may even see goats climbing on farm equipment or small structures. This climbing behavior comes from their natural adaptation to rocky and mountainous environments. Sheep usually behave differently. They tend to be calmer and more cautious animals. Instead of exploring individually, sheep prefer staying close to the rest of their flock. Sheep rely heavily on their flock for safety and comfort. If one sheep begins moving in a certain direction, the others often follow. This strong flocking instinct is one of the most noticeable characteristics of sheep behavior. Because of these behavioral differences, goats often appear more playful and adventurous, while sheep usually appear more quiet and organized when moving as a group. Another practical difference between goats and sheep can be seen in how they interact with fences. Many farmers quickly discover that goats are very clever when it comes to escaping. Because they are curious and active, goats often test fences by pushing against them, jumping on them, or looking for weak spots. If a fence has a small gap or a loose section, goats may eventually discover it and try to squeeze through. For this reason, farmers raising goats usually need strong and well-built fencing systems. Proper fencing helps keep the goats safe and prevents them from wandering into areas where they may damage crops. Sheep usually behave differently around fences. Since they prefer grazing peacefully and staying with their flock, they are generally less likely to challenge fences in the same way goats do. As long as the fence is strong and properly installed, sheep often remain within the grazing area without trying to escape frequently. Now let us consider the variety of food each animal prefers. Goats are known for eating a wide variety of plants. They enjoy many types of vegetation, including weeds, shrubs, vines, and leaves. Sheep usually focus mainly on grass. They slowly graze across pastures, converting grass into useful farm products like meat and wool. Because goats and sheep eat different types of plants, some farmers raise both animals together. In these mixed grazing systems, goats focus on shrubs and weeds, while sheep concentrate on the grass. This combination can help farmers use their land more efficiently. Another interesting comparison between goats and sheep is the purpose for which farmers raise them. Goats are commonly raised for meat and milk. In many parts of the world, goat milk is widely consumed and valued for its nutritional qualities. Goat meat is also popular in many cultures and is often in strong demand in local markets. Sheep are commonly raised for meat and wool. In regions where wool production is important, sheep farming contributes significantly to the textile industry. So even though both animals can provide several useful products, the focus of farming may differ depending on whether the farmer raises goats or sheep. The environment where animals live also plays a very important role in their productivity. Goats are often comfortable in dry, rocky, and bushy environments. Because they eat shrubs and leaves, they can survive in areas where grass may not grow very well. Sheep usually perform best in open areas with good pasture. These grassy environments allow them to graze comfortably and maintain steady growth. This means that the type of land available often influences which animal may be more suitable for a particular farm. Another noticeable difference between goats and sheep is their group behavior. Sheep have a very strong flocking instinct. They naturally prefer staying close together and moving as a group. This flocking behavior helps protect them from predators and also makes it easier for shepherds to guide them from one place to another. Goats also live in groups, but they tend to be more independent. Instead of always staying tightly together, goats may spread out while exploring their surroundings. Finally, there are also physical differences that help people identify goats and sheep more easily. One of the simplest ways to notice the difference is by looking at their tails. Goats usually have tails that point upward, while sheep usually have tails that hang downward. In addition to tails, goats and sheep may have different facial features, horn shapes, and body structures depending on the breed. Some goats grow beards and have upright ears, while sheep often have thicker wool covering most of their bodies. Finally, both goats and sheep require good farm management. Farmers must provide clean water, good nutrition, proper housing, and regular health care for both animals. Vaccination, parasite control, and proper shelter are important for keeping them healthy and productive. When farmers understand the natural differences between goats and sheep, they can make better decisions about how to manage them and how to use their land effectively. Both animals have played an important role in agriculture for centuries, and they will continue to support farmers around the world for many years to come. Understanding them better is one of the first steps toward becoming a successful livestock farmer. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and also turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our goats-related videos. Click on the video on the screen now so you learn more about goats.